Right, let's see what other books we have in here. Oh, oh yes. Wow. I haven't got to discuss this one in forever. Oh, mates are already here. Sorry, I have to teleport. Apparently you can't walk and read at the same time. Don't text and drive, everybody. That's a key note. Wow. I forgot about all these. Dang. Okay. This is a good one. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Township Tale story times. Today we will be looking at something about some of the weird activities that happen here in town. More or less some of the artifacts and shapes that appear before us during certain times of the year, and exactly where they come from, or why they exist in the first place. If you might know, every so often, every year, there's little dirt patches that appear with little gravestones on the top of them. Interesting shapes, interesting history, but there wasn't really much of the township history to go off of. Although knowing what a gravestone is supposed to be, we can likely speculate that they were used for the exact reason. But today we're going to be taking a look at why these stones exist and where they may come from. A private organisation that I work with has spent some time searching around this place in finding anything that could relate to why these stones exist, and we found a few. But a lot of what we found may match up to be the same ancient people that we're talking about. Yes, ancient people. People that do no longer exist on this plane of existence, along with us, or probably even the time of the Kumai, or before the Big Bang to begin with. It was likely way before that. Disclaimer, none of these stories that I'm about to tell you are true. They are purely fan-made, to say the least. But I'm excited to share it with you, and I hope you may too enjoy. That is your disclaimer, and I thank you all for being here. But here I have a bit of writing, a story that comes from these gravestones, which may tell a little bit of history into why these stones exist, or who made them, or how they got here, or why they're here. Every question that could be answered is likely here in this book, and in the items that we have also found. Yes, I am discussing a few items that my researchers have found during this time here. In the back table there are some pieces of paper made out of cloth, actually. Old cloth, very old. But on some of these cloths you can see shapes and patterns and images that are somewhat distorted but also tell a tale. So here, my first set, I have a few things here, images and the story to go along with it. I do thank these researchers for finding this, and I really do appreciate the work they do. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this story. There is a tale, a township tale, if you will, of strange rock formations across the open land of this abandoned town. Rocks that are believed to imitate the sun and stars. Some speculate that they reveal shapes similar to that of the hand of the climbing tower, a hollow space with no sign of reason. Yet as these pieces are examined, history and mythology appear from the remains. The old books tell the stories of worshippers who look to the sun for guidance and methods of maintaining the community. There is no known name for these people, yet those who know these people's history have found it could be similar to the name of the people of the Komoi, as Komoi means people of the stars. This old race of people were instead called people of the life star, the sun that we know it, that likely gives life to all things around it and in it. The crumbled relics, hieroglyphics and inscriptions show historical pictures of shimmering lights and endless trees blending together to form the most beautiful forms of life. The creation of the Deus and Babu species formed from these lights from millennia ago. They were a peaceful group and had no intent to harm. Upon seeing these creations of these creatures emerging from the forest, the people began to question the capabilities of the magical gifts that the sun provided them. Looking to make their own creations, the people looked for a way to gain access to these gifts, by asking for the sun's permission to create creatures from their own hands. The pictures show the form of some sort of leader, or grand worshipper, who ventures on top of the mountain in order to reach the sun and request its abilities. The sun doesn't answer their call, unfortunately, leaving the leader to question why no words have been spoken to him, and whether they had permission at all. Instead, it looks like the leader was bringing gifts and set them in a circle as an offering to the sun, in order to gain these gifts of life. Some of the items that the leader brought were in the shape of gold coins, similar to the ones that we use today for bartering. Metallic ingots, stemming from iron, copper, gold, and silver. A few of the items started to shine in front of his eyes, the gold pieces and the metallic pieces. It looked like the leader had finally got what he was looking for, an answer. The images that we have here show that the leader is communicating with his people about the sun's wishes and how they will soon be able to create life for themselves if they bring these pieces to the sun themselves. The people carved stones stronger than the average rock into pieces that replicated the sun. The center of the stones were carved out and a rope was tied to the edge of the circle, yet some of this image is shown to be torn. Only a piece of it was found during the excavation. Though one of the inscriptions written from this time that we found during our excavation shows the form of a body, crossing its arms in some strange position, staring up at the sky, as well as showing a strange shape in the middle of the hand, suggesting that maybe they were holding something when they were in this position. But beyond this, we know nothing more. But from all the collected items that we got during this excavation, it came up with some theories for us. It is believed that they tried to reach the sun through risky methods. Most of what we can tell from these old pages is that these people were placed underground as a means to meet the sun through spirit, as the sun could not reach them physically. Even though they could feel the heat on their hands, it wasn't enough, and it was lighter than the physical body. So instead they might have thought to relieve themselves of their body in order to meet the sun. It is believed that the people carved hollow points into these stones so the sun could find them upon leaving their bodies. They likely thought they would be successful in their mission, and that they would awaken in their bodies once more with the gifts of life in hand. As for the items such as the rope, it may have been a way for the people to return back to the surface as they pull themselves back up. Instead, it looks like the people never made it back with the items in hand, and the items that they had to begin with would rise to the surface from the changing environment as their bodies would return to the soil and disintegrate. Well, that is the supposed story behind the origins of the gravestones scattered throughout this land. A group of people millennia ago believed in the deity who'd provide them with gifts from a sign prayed upon the mountain top, only to never return to this plane of existence and have their gifts denied. Some of the items that we have here are 3 gold coins and 2 red iron pieces. These were actually found during our excavations in some of the dig spots of where these stones were. Since we learned about some of the history, we are going to be putting these back where we found them, not to desecrate the land and everything that was there, because we don't know what these could have done. You guys want to take this? Yeah, thank you. But that is the supposed story of how the gravestones came to be. An ancient race of people used to live on this land and believed in something some time ago about a deity that would give them gifts if they did so with trade. It's unfortunate what happened to them, and it begs the question whether these people should have dug up the other ones as soon as they were put under the ground. But maybe it's because they thought they were lost, and if they dug up the bodies they would never make it home again. But one after the other, they all dug themselves in. Though there's still the possibility of these race of people just moving on with their lives, going on to do other things, becoming a different race of people, or identifying themselves by a different name that we have yet to know. Maybe the name still is around and we have yet to know it. But after the big bad, there's just no one around to give us the answers anymore. But I do thank you all for being here. Let me know what you thought about the gravestone story and where the origins come from. If it's scary, truthful, or if there's any elements to it that seem a little off. But yeah, that's about it. So let me know what you might think about this storytelling stuff. We'll have some further stories in the future about the timeline and where our history comes from as people. And if you do like any of it, do consider becoming part of the channel by pressing that little button down there at the bottom. It's an arrow pointing you in the right direction, so do consider becoming part of it. It will help me out a lot. And if you are part of this channel already, do consider becoming a member. You'll get more involved with further videos, get access to custom emojis, and you'll get your name featured at the beginning of the episode like I did at this one. So that's it for today's story time of Township Tale. I thank you all for being here. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a wonderful day. And goodbye.